Click.
Hey, somebody brought me 2 wing Donatello parts.
Ooh.
Really? Which one? Which parts? Do you know?
I'm sure.
We might have to talk after this podcast. We don't sell parts. We don't trade parts.
If
But
you,
friends don't let friends have.
I
toys.
don't know if you've watched enough of this show, but
Friends don't give friends parts.
I don't sell parts.
Yeah, but friends don't let friends have cool toys that aren't complete.
Oh, so you have it incomplete?
I have a beater figure with no accessories.
I have an incomplete scratch. Do you got any parts?
No.
Yeah, you do.
No. Maybe.
See?
So
Hold note.
So how about we trade? I have a scratch. You have 2 parts. You have a wing Donatello. I have 2 parts.
I'll trade you a wing or.
So then there we go.
All
That's
right.
what friends do. They help
Okay,
each other
okay.
out.
You can have the cake gun.
I want the fish.
I don't have the fish.
It
have
doesn't matter. I have
The
nothing.
money bag, right?
Yeah.
I have nothing. I think we because I think we have to introduce
Hi, Justin.
Justin is new in the podcast. He's making
Long-time caller. Or was it
First-time
long-time listener,
listener.
first-time caller?
Justin does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so you may not see him on a lot of our YouTube episodes, even though you did see him on 1 or 2.
One or two with David.
Yeah, B
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
That
B
was the
team,
episode
B team.
where they were claiming to be the B team,
Yeah.
and the sales were really strong.
And that episode did really well.
The episode did well. Sales did well.
You know
So-
what's interesting is I took my daughter to Florida probably 2 weeks after that episode aired. Not after it was shot, but after
I
it
know
was
where
aired.
this is going.
So we did this tour of the Disney parks. We want to see if we get every park in one day
Yeah.
with the hoppers and the passes and all that, but hit like the 2 or 3 best rides. So we're third park in, we're at Animal Kingdom, and we're leaving the park getting ready to go to Hollywood Studios. And the kid...
Formerly MGM Studios.
Formerly MGM. If you're from Florida, it's always MGM Studios.
Right.
But the kid in that episode, the episode that aired...
where I sold my kids' toys to go,
on vacation. Well, they're walking into the park. We're walking out. I was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And he looked at me, and then he realized as we were walking away who I was.
Yeah.
And then I think he was like, "Dad, they know us from YouTube." And it's like, "No, man, I took your toys. I
Yeah,
helped
yeah.
you get here." So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And it was
But I mean, if
interesting.
you message, retro or anything,
if you talk
Brad-
to Retro, you're actually talking to
you're
me.
talking to Justin, and graphics and announcements and guest announcements and need
he's-
help at the store, need help at a show, since the old store. So he's been around helping the Toy Federation dream.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
Help me buy this building.
It's been cool over the last year and a half, really seeing how the YouTube and everything's picked up, because I kind of had to step back from being day to day in the store with my new job and everything, and just watching how you and the guys and everybody is just blowing up and taking that step back. You guys see it every day, and it's like, hey, this is, we got this figure and this figure, and you come in 2-3 weeks at a time. It's like, wow, look at what's going on.
I just still remember when I went through all the hurdles to, I don't know if we were at Toylanta. I think it was Toylanta. And I was panicking over how am I going to afford this building, and I had to write like a thesis for the different. I had multiple lenders, and
And we were going back and forth and talking about.
then
that
you brought
whole
the
weekend.
computer there, and I had
And we
to,
were writing it up in the hotel room.
and I'm and I was like, this is so much
see, but you
financial burden and responsibility, and
You wanted to say another word.
I remember way back when, like when you do the old shows, we had the what was it, a green Caravan, like the headliner was falling. You've had that van forever.
oh, my Dodge Grand Caravan.
We take it to
I
Tampa.
drove that till the
and
piston
We're
blew.
praying that it makes it back from Tampa, but in the old store, you would close the middle of the day to go get your kids and bring them back.
yeah,
and that,
no.
I mean, the Toy Federation. It's come a long way.
It's when you want to start your own business, be prepared to work 1 million hours and give everything you have,
And then some.
and to the point to where even you might question, are you making the right decision? But perseverance.
What does your dad always say? Load the cart,
Oh yeah, load the cart and
figure out how
Figure
you're
out
gonna
how to pull it later.
figure out how to pull it later.
And
It's
I've-
better to have a loaded cart as opposed to an empty cart, and it's just But then he also said even a blind squirrel gets a nut
Oh,
every
yeah.
now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad's full of
gotta
random
get lucky.
pearls.
One-liners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I've known Andy longer than
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Justin used to come into the old shop, and the very first time he's like, he has a flag.
Remember the parts when we were going to set up the coffee table?
If
in the
I'm
shop we
interested
were
in
gonna-
a flag.
The flag that got traded.
Oh,
like,
my
And then
gosh.
the amount of times I hear somebody come into the shop who has some rare thing to then never see them again. So I don't get overly excited
Right.
because until it happens,
it's not happening.
it's nothing.
Right.
And there just could be somebody
I think
bloviating.
parts of that flag are behind your desk in
Probably.
in office number 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
office number 1. Yeah, and then like 6 months later, he had come in. I was like, "Didn't you have a flag or something you're supposed to be bringing?" Oh yeah, you still interested in that? And then I was like, "Well, I'm interested in website."
Hey,
And
can
that
you
was-
build a website?
That was the year I was starting Retro Toy Con. So then that's how that whole relationship really went to the next level. But you guys knew each other prior
Oh,
doing
yeah.
customs or what?
Yeah, so you tell, I mean, we, the shed.
Dude, well, not only that, but like we met across the street before.
Your toy store. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Well,
there's the guy. There was a
there was a guy
yeah.
that had a toy store before yours across the
the
street.
same shop.
So, on a side note, there was a guy, unbeknownst to me, that had a toy store in my exact spot that I rented, but maybe a year to a year and a half prior to me. Because there was something else in that spot that wasn't a toy store when I took it over. So it was, and he hadn't shut down his business or notified Yellow Pages, because that's still a thing, and Bing or Google. And so when I contacted those places, they already had a toy store in that spot. And I was like, I'm in that spot. They do not exist. So you need to make me in that spot and like close them.
Right.
And if they come by, it's just another toy
So
store.
if it wasn't for me, it would still say they were in that spot.
Yeah.
I forget what they were called.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
I think I remember, but I don't want to be wrong.
So you guys met.
Timeless toys.
Well,
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Timeless toys and collectibles.
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I was in there one day. You were in there one day. We got to talking.
Ended up going to flea markets.
Yeah.
Every Walmart clearance, TJ Maxx from this side.
Yeah, I mean every flea market, every yard sale, everything.
That's when the 25th was hitting TJ Maxx real hard, and we were getting the figures real cheap and then breaking them down. And
Custom.
I remember getting them at this Big Lots right here.
Yeah.
well, we
Yep.
There was and it was the
Love
mat, they had the Matt Tracker, the
Yeah.
Zartan.
Yeah. But we whatever over a period of time we ended up doing customs out of the back of that shop.
like when you bought this store, the first time I'd ever gone in the back, there was markings on the wall where Andy and I had marked over near the sink. in
That
the
back room was really small.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. Now
Yeah.
imagine two guys mine and Andy's size
At one table.
at a table half this size trying to do customs.
And didn't you like sell them and then he didn't pay you or something?
We won't get into all
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
there may be some figures that were lost in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
mix somewhere. But then we moved out of there and moved into a shed behind my first house
Yep.
and cut a hole in it and put an air conditioner
Yep.
in and
Ran a power line.
ran power lines. We'd connect power from the house and run an extension cord all the way out to the backyard. It was so janky.
You guys are fancy.
Yeah.
But Trevette came out of that.
Yeah, that was a-
First
yeah.
Walker Texas Ranger
Yep.
custom. That was a good one.
He was called Trevette.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
Walker,
Walker's,
Texas Ranger.
oh,
His partner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I-
Trevette.
I love Chuck Norris. I haven't seen any of Walker Texas Ranger.
Really?
No, I've seen his movies.
Wow.
Have you guys seen any of the new? Who's the guy from Supernatural? Did the new Walker show?
Oh.
I haven't watched any of them.
My wife watches it. She
I heard it
loves
got
it.
canceled.
So there's a new Texas Ranger?
Yeah, it
But
came
it's
out.
it's
It
not
did
like
get canceled.
It did get canceled.
it's
Is-
not
is-
like
is Chuck
it's-
Norris in it?
No.
No.
It's not like
Not even a
Chuck-
cameo?
No. It's not like Walker Texas Ranger. It's like Walker.
I mean, it's not even like Knight Rider 2000 where Hasselhoff showed up at the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm your dad.
It's not like
It's not like good.
They had a spin-off where it's his mom in like the early, or his grandmother in like the early 1900s, basically doing the same thing.
Interesting.
Nah.
Interesting. I'll pass.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris for the win.
But yeah, so that's how we all kind of met each other.
Yeah.
It just turned into this.
Yeah. And then obviously I met Ryan through you.
Yeah.
Because I remember you calling me, hey, there's a new toy store in the old spot where we used to be.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I mean, I went in, bought some stuff. And then when the building moved over here, it was like, I mean, I can do Joe's. And then I think the first.
Well, and we, in the old store, I keep saying we've only done it maybe twice here. So, and been here like
The
5.
meetups.
So we started.
Yeah.
And when I had the warehouse in Florida, when I was the online Toy Federation, there was some of the local G.I. Joe guys. They had a local club where they met up once a month.
Yep.
And they started shopping. You know, they found out that I had a warehouse and it was local. And then I was like, yeah, you can come to the warehouse and shop. Like, I didn't care.
Right.
And so then I had these local guys, and they would tell another guy and another guy. And they invited me to one of their Joe Club meetings. So then I went to their, and hung out with them. And then it was always a member alternated to host the club at their house. And then sometimes the wives it was always inconvenient to get the next meetup because it just didn't work out with the wife or
Right. Something's going
company
on.
coming
kids
over, or
got
house
sports,
is dirty.
right.
So it would usually be the same guy hosting it. It was getting a little old. And so somebody said, would you mind hosting them? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. Sure. So then I ordered all the food because I was like, I was just going to be a good host.
Right.
And I'd order like a couple pizzas and a sub or wings. And I didn't have any chairs or anything. So they would bring, their folding chairs and, it was a big bay door. We'd open it up because it was just a long warehouse. And they would all just sit out and talk and share their customs and then they would end up spending about $1,000. So it's like, this is great.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll order another $100 worth of pizzas. And
We've only done that once in your new spot, and that was right before COVID.
So when I moved here,
I mean, I remember like one or two out there. Right?
I'm thinking there was 2 out
Yeah.
here because one you had the like sauteed
You had the
chicken
sauteed
breast.
chicken in the
Yeah.
bag that everybody was like dying for.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I start the meeting here in the old store, and we called it the G.I. Joe Club / Retro Rewind.
That's right.
And then Matt made shirts. Different.
I think
Matt.
we still have that page hidden,
Oh, geez.
that group hidden.
Oh, I didn't hide it. It's probably still there, but it's a private group.
Right, but I haven't seen that in years.
Well, nobody posts anymore.
Yeah.
We might need to bring that back.
And then Cossin would come with his Joes and the
Yep.
case.
Case. Yeah.
People would trade. It was great. But then it kind of phased away. And then in the new store, we did a couple of them. And then it just stopped. But I
got
mean,
busy.
and then it was like, well, nobody can get together. And it was like, well, you don't have to, I'm always here.
Right.
So I'll
Bring
still
the party here.
I'll still do the food. So like I brought the meat. Everybody else brought everything else.
Yep.
Like burgers and dogs. So we got to do that again.
Kind of still happens though, because when you have a celebrity in the store,
Yeah, that's true.
there's food, everybody's hanging out, but
Oh, and I want to start doing parking lot sales.
see,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that would be awesome.
At least quarterly.
Just like let people come, or what is your vision for that?
So the whole parking lot, or at least let's just say the front of the store.
Right.
So you could still park along the side. Figure you can get 10, 20, easy.
Oh,
30
absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
BYOT, bring your own table.
There it is.
And then just do like
Or you could just sell toys on the ground like we do trades.
but see, yeah. This is, yeah. I was going to say, it's like I have to, like if I'm working, I don't know, it's weird. It's because I never sit,
Right.
except for the podcast.
When I would do trades in the store, when I was here more often, you'd always look at me weird because I do them on top of the comics.
Well, there's times where I've done them over there, but let's just say there's stuff here and it's just a little basket or something.
Right.
Right.
Then it's just blah, blah, blah.
I'd take the piles over there and start making piles.
Yeah.
But then you end up losing like gun to somebody down in the comic boxes.
yeah.
and-
I can't tell you how many times. So when Travis he'll work over there, and let's say I'll push the comics forward and look down because it'd be dust or dirt and I was like, oh, there's a Hot Toys
Yeah.
peg.
It's probably where Scratch's accessories are at.
Eh.
It's a catch-all.
A lot of comments About not wanting you to do the trades on the top of the comics either,
Yeah.
for fear of bending them up.
But
I
Well-
mean, they're in their thing. You can't.
they're in bags and boards.
And Justin's not here as much anymore, so you're safe.
We do not have any rare comics over there.
No, definitely not.
Now on the case, on the other side, there's some.
Yeah.
But it's
10
still, It's not a
comics.
comic store.
We're not a
Yeah.
we're not a comic store.
We have some comics. Now I made some really rare comics that I've.
Those are cool. How the Dark Saber? I mean, how could you have known then?
Intuition.
Toy Man.
Jim with cold slither. Excuse
I
me.
created that, so that was my. That was just.
Baroness hugging
Piper's-
I created that.
Man, that's probably my favorite one.
That is pretty cool.
But
'Cause
that's
Piper was
that
such a
was
cool
just
guy.
my brain. I had a really killer Turtle and Ghostbusters cover. They couldn't get it done in time, and it was going to be fantastic because all the Turtles and the Ghostbusters gear.
Of course, it would have been great because
I'm not even going to reveal the full cover because. But
Still
I
might
mean, I
do
had a
it.
cover Dave Dorman was going to do that I talked to. I talked to Kevin Eastman when it was going to be $500 to do a cover. Like, but this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't done those books in 10 plus years.
Yeah, you
I should do
just
another
for the Joe
cover.
shows or take them with you. to
Do it
those.
for retro.
See, the problem is pick a title you want to do an exclusive with. And it's not a problem. You buy the entire run. So
Right.
then you have thousands of a comic. But if, let's just say you want to do a G.I. Joe book and your show is on this particular day, if you do not, if it doesn't coincide with the release date to get it by this time to have it for this show,
You might
then
not get
then
it.
there's no point.
Right.
And you don't want to get it too far in advance because it's almost like you want the most current issue released at the
And
time
hit
frame.
that sweet spot. That makes sense.
And then I know with Marvel you had to do way too many.
Yeah.
Like Tony did one with Marvel, and it it was
Your typical run on your other books were what, about 2,000?
IDW was 1,200. I'm sure
1,200.
it's probably changed now. Then it was 1,200. With Dark Horse, I think it was 2,000. No, 1,500. It was 1,500.
It's not a very big run.
I think Marvel you had to buy 3,000.
That's a few.
Yeah.
And even if they're let's just say they're $2 a piece, well then that's a $6,000 investment.
Right.
Not every one of them is a Dark Saber
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and not everyone's Cold Slither with Gem and the Holograms
Yeah.
or Baroness and Piper.
and Baroness and
Right.
Piper.
Yeah, those are cool.
And then I could have if I had known Travis at the time, I would have commissioned him to do the comic. I didn't. But I did find more of the Baroness. There's a guy that I owed one to that from Joe Fest that I'm shipping out today. And I did find like 3 more.
You know, when we went to Augusta a few weeks ago and I had to leave early, you were talking about then the Jim and Cold Slither cover.
Right?
A couple days ago, I went and looked because I had mine signed by Samantha
Right.
a couple years ago, and pulled it out. Piece of tape caught it,
Tore it?
ripped the back. Oh, I was so upset.
Oh,
But,
jeez.
it is what it is. But yeah, I ruined it. I'm not a comic guy. I don't know how to handle books.
That's why you don't use tape. You use the resealable bags.
See, people don't know that.
Yeah, well, they're more expensive, but I.
So
All right.
so I have to ask you because with everything that's come in the store in the last year and a half, what is now what's your favorite piece in your personal collection?
I don't think it'll ever change. It's the Star Wars early birds.
Bird.
I knew
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be something.
Uh,
If there was ever that one thing that might compete with that, what would it be?
Sears Missile Command.
Sears Missile Command. Sealed?
I don't have it.
Don't have it.
Oh,
at all.
sealed? Yeah, forget it.
yeah.
I was about to say.
I have it loose. I want the box.
Isn't that cardboard?
It's cardboard.
it's cardboard.
Yeah. He only likes paper. He doesn't actually like toys.
It's
Yeah.
paper.
Well, you get to where you
Paper.
collect, Andy, you're what, a huge G.I. Joe guy.
Right.
You love Star Wars and all the weird. You get to the place in your lines where the tchotchke and the weird and the paperwork, that becomes cooler than the actual toy.
I still remember. Well, I got a lot of toys now,
Well, yeah.
No.
so it's. And I get totally what you're saying. How I like weird and obscure things because the other things become a little bit more common to me.
Right.
But the early bird, before I had all the anything crazy, I had a very tiny collection struggling to. That always fascinated me.
Just
It's always been your grail.
Like it didn't take me having every Star Wars figure and all kinds of other miscellaneous cool things to then say, that's cardboard and I just really want that because that's obscure and it's odd. Like, I was just fascinated with that when I had 5% of the collection. I don't know.
So did you have the early bird as a kid?
No,
Oh, that's surprising.
I didn't know about it as a kid.
what year did that come out?
77. Christmas. There's even like a display for it with like a backdrop, and then all the early birds slid in it. That's rare. Like, I just was fascinated with it. I don't know. And then the Sears Missile Command. I don't know.
What about you? What's your grail?
In my collection,
Yeah, or in general?
I'd say for the longest time, like Night Force was unattainable for me. So now I'm down to needing like 3 Night Force figures. Now I'm kind of shifting to, I kind of want the European Tiger Force.
Oh, I think
I mean,
I think
I
I've
don't know.
convinced the guys. There's guys from the UK and Ireland who I just ran into, and I think they're probably coming to the show this November.
Nice.
Hopefully they bring a carry-on full of
That's exactly
A
what.
pallet.
Because he'll have enough. He needs enough time to restock.
Yeah.
List out the Night Force.
List out the Night Force.
Yeah, what are they?
So name the Night Force
Oh
guys.
wow, here we go.
All right. So
The
you
test.
got Falcon, Repeater, Shockwave, Outback, Crazy Legs, Psych Out, Spearhead Max.
Did you do Tunnel Rat?
Did not do Tunnel Rat. Did I
For
say
the
Falcon?
record, Devin would
I
have
think I
already
said
had this
Falcon.
list done.
Well,
I don't know.
You're at.
I'm at 8. There's what, 12, right?
There's 12.
Was Dial Tone one?
No.
Oh yeah, there is 12. Yeah, 3.
Why am I drawing? Charbroil, Lightfoot.
Oh, Sniper. Did you already say Low Light?
He's not in it.
What? Okay,
Nope.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm sure.
So I'm forgetting 2.
Not Joe Guy.
No. Let's talk turtles.
Night Force Turtles.
Welcome to Turtle Talk.
Who am I forgetting? Said Crazy Legs. Said Psycho.
What'd you get, like,
Oh,
11?
Sneak Peek.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
He's just sneaking a peek.
Yeah. He's actually off topic because I can't remember the last one, but Sneak Peek was actually designed after a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
I think the kid was sick and he always wanted to be a Joe.
Oh,
and
cool.
they made him into one. The face.
So is that like in the Dan's book?
It might be.
Because what are those books called? Dan Klingensmith Jr. He's got some killer Joe books.
Man, they're great. They're so good.
I back him on. I back every Kickstarter he does.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the very beginning because I didn't know about him.
Right.
And then once I learned, I back all of them. So if you don't know, there's some really good history on G.I. Joes. Well, the same with Carson Metaxas.
Oh, yeah.
But he's more about the art and the history. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, they're both amazing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Are there vehicles?
Night Force?
Yeah.
There's a ton of Night Force vehicles.
Man, I'll be the first to admit can't even remember the names of them. I know you got the
So
Night Ray, the Boomer.
there's the Night Boomers, the Sky Striker repurposed.
Right.
And so explain a little bit more. These were Night Force came out in 2 years. Was it
Right.
88 and 89?
Yep.
And they were exclusive to Toys R Us.
Correct.
So they were all black with glow in the dark stickers.
Mhm.
Usually the missiles or
Missiles and
guns
guns,
or bombs
orange.
were orange.
Yep.
And just repurposed.
Cobra
know.
Joe vehicles.
So
yeah.
the Night Boomer is the Sky Striker.
Yep.
Now I'm not going to get all these right.
Oh, 100%.
So there's the Night Ray.
Which was the.
There's the
Moray,
Night Shade.
Which was the shark.
Okay. Then is there a Night rhino for some reason.
No, that was later on. That was a redo of the.
Oh, that's
warthog.
right. That's the warthog.
Was the whale ever
That's
redone?
a good one.
Whale was Night
Oh
Force.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was Night Force, right?
Yeah.
yeah. That's
1 for 3.
Night Whale,
It is not Night Striker.
Night Striker, the Persuader, or did we say that or no?
They did the maggot.
The Maggot,
So you're looking over at me. I
No, I'm
I-
just.
Triple T.
terrible with Joe.
Oh yeah, they did the. Yeah.
And what was the 12th figure name? You could say anything, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's DJ.
No, it's not DJ.
Well, I know it's not DJ.
It's not.
It's
DJ.
Al.
It's
Huh.
not. It's
Like I'm in like trying to envision the 2-packs.
Leadfoot.
Leadfoot.
That's Snorlax.
That's
Oh no, that was the
that was the Hibernator.
Snack Eyes.
Hibernator.
Snack Eyes.
Oh yeah. But Night Force is money.
Yeah, Night Force is it's cool.
But it's really the Sky Striker, the Whale, and the Moray.
Yeah.
In is the top. And then you could pick up the Shark affordably, the
yeah.
Maggot
It's
affordably,
nothing.
The whale's probably insane.
the Persuader.
Yeah.
No, but I still think, because I've had the veins for the Night Force Whale, and that's the Night Striker, pretty sure. They're stronger.
Did it come? The Night Force version of the whale, did it come with the same sled and bike? All
Yeah,
that?
everything was the same. Just
Really?
different colors.
Well, they reversed the hull colors.
Right.
So
It was
on a regular whale, it's black and green.
Green.
So it's green and black.
Yeah.
They just inverted.
Flip flop.
So if you really wanted to do a true Night Force, you take the whale bottom, which is black, with the Night Force top, then it's
And-
all black, and then put the stickers on.
Somebody's had to have done that.
And
or
then-
just painted
I'm,
their
I'm
whale.
sure.
And then there was a prototype Night Drome. Just kidding. It's a
See, I
Night
would-
Force Terror Drome.
Yeah.
Technodrome.
Yeah.
It's a Night Force flag. I'm sure somebody's
Some-
customized
yeah.
on.
You know,
I've
there
seen
is.
some
There's.
killer customs.
Think of the stuff we did over the years. Somebody's done everything
Oh yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a little kid, and it was probably a Night Force figure. I was like, man, this Joe's cool. You know, had all this black camo on and everything. Parents wouldn't buy paint or anything like that. You're not messing up your toys. I remember my grandparents had this jar of ink that they would pour out in this little pad or whatever. And I remember just taking my G.I. Joes or my Turtles and just pouring this ink all over them. And for about 5 minutes, it looked really cool. And
Oh,
you
and
start
every
playing with
time
it,
you
and it's
touch them, it's
everywhere.
Evidence everywhere, all over the carpet, TV. It was so bad.
So what were you telling me earlier, Andy? Because if we're talking about Night Force, you told me that you had written a letter to Hasbro when you were a kid
So
suggesting this line before it existed.
What?
I 100% did when I was a kid, and this is no BS. This is no trying to get
All right,
ratings.
are you
or,
listening now,
or,
Hasbro?
or whatever you want to call it. 100% when I was a kid, I wrote to Hasbro, and I said it would be cool if you took Joe's and made them in darker colors. Joe captured Cobra vehicles, or you know what I mean, and
Flip it around a little
painted
bit.
them dark. And I was like, a good name for this line would be Night Force.
No, so you had the name too? I didn't hear that part.
And I mean, lightning strike me if I'm lying.
Have you like ran into Kirk or anybody at a show and said, "Hey, you remember that letter you guys got?" You know?
Well, I mean, so I reached out to Dan. I was like, man, I told him the story. He on Instagram, we're going back and forth, and I said, man, 100%. I was like, I wrote this letter when I was a kid, and you know, he said he doesn't have any knowledge of anyone writing a letter, but I was like, man, if you could ever find out anyone to ask, I was like, I'm not looking for anything. I don't want anything. I just
Just
want
some validation.
That's it.
Can we prove that you took my idea?
I don't even care.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like you care a little bit.
I would care a little bit.
Like,
I mean,
not
that's
like, dude. I just want to
one
know
of
if
the
someone
coolest
read
G.I.
my
Joe
letter.
lines. A
That's
guy
all
that
I
doesn't know
want.
G.I. Joe
Like,
thinks
as a
that-
kid, like, I just want that part of my kid is still in me. Like, I just want to know if someone read my letter.
Well, I'm not going to name a company or who suggested this, but I know for a fact somebody told a company an idea. The company said, and this is a company that allowed you to do like me doing the thing with the comics.
Right.
You buy the run, as long as they approve of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
This company told them, yeah, no, we just would never do that. And then they did exactly that. And then there was no repercussion. So it's almost like you would have to have them sign a non-disclosure.
Right.
And then
right.
they could just tell you to go take a hike, and then we won't sell you product anymore.
Or what is it, like the poor man's copyright, where you send the letter to yourself and it's dated, and
To prove that.
Right, that proved it.
Does that
Was
still
but
work?
so say you're a toy store, and I'm just going to make this up. Let's just say you're Hasbro, Justin's Hasbro, and I'm little old toy store.
right.
And Hasbro's willing to do exclusives if you buy the run. And I tell you my idea, and you say, nah, we don't think it's a good idea. We're
Right.
not going to do it. I was like, oh, that stinks. And then 6 months later, you do exactly my idea. And then I try to raise a stink and, oh, you know what? We're just not going to sell Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Star Wars to you anymore.
Right.
I can't risk that.
Right.
So then
You got no
so it doesn't go
dog
any-
in the fight, no leg to stand
so
on.
so they had this power over this individual, and it just and it wasn't just one idea, it was multiple ideas, and they did all of the ideas.
That's so shady.
So it's almost sad that if you share something, it's almost like you have to be careful who you talk to and be prepared to do, even if you're going to make something. Like, I mean, even when we do guest announcements, we don't tell anybody,
Right.
because then shows try to take guests away from you.
Right.
And even if they're not intentionally meaning to let any information out, it just naturally
Slips.
happens.
And then, if you talk things in this, but yeah, like I learned to not even say certain ideas,
Oh, you can't.
or somebody will try to, it was like my father's manufactured many things in his line of work, and he was like, you have 6 months before your product is ripped off. And even the biggest companies, whether it's Lego or Hasbro or Fig Arts,
Yeah.
they're getting ripped off, and they got fancy lawyers.
Oh yeah.
And,
It still happens.
and representatives in all these countries trying to make sure, and it still happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Sideshow Hot Toys exclusives with the Sideshow exclusive item that comes as the add-on item if you buy their version, and there's people selling that exclusive item. They're just running overages in the factory.
Yep.
So it's like you don't have to buy that version and just... now, it won't be in the box and from the collectible standpoint, but the guy wants that extra hand or
Right.
the gauntlet.
Or someone that doesn't want to open their original,
Right.
might go for the KO route.
Yeah, but it's just a little, just something to think about. It's like always just keep your cards a little close if you
Close
have
to the chest.
a good
Yeah.
idea, and then just make sure you protect yourself and cover your bases and trust who you share your ideas with. If you plan to do something unique, or because they will rip you off.
We do have a lot of ideas.
I have so many ideas. I just don't know.
I've got lists.
You're out of time. There's not enough hours
It's
on
like
the clock for all your
I just need to shoot them to people who can make them happen.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's only so many hours in a day. And then as the store keeps expanding and growing, you focus on,
You need more people to do your bidding.
this is true.
But you've got a good crew now.
Yeah.
You got an amazing crew.
Oh, no, everybody. And it's all organic.
Yeah.
It's very
all,
strange.
It's all natural.
It's very strange how it all happens.
Well, it's like, because there's a ton of people that want to work here, and then it always just comes back to, and it's a lot of younger people, and I'm not opposed to, it's just, do you have the knowledge?
I'd say everybody that works for you has the breadth of knowledge in everything, but each person has like a depth of knowledge in something.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
multiple things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But then it's being comfortable enough with whoever it is. Like, it takes time for me to be
You got to build trust.
Well,
Trusting.
you're
Yeah.
trusting with your livelihood. I mean,
Right.
you know, if the ship sinks, look what
To
sinks
give
with
somebody
it.
a key to the door or the register, or to trust being 50 feet away and 2 units over. So, but it's just something. It's almost like, how do I know if a gun's repro? It's a feeling.
Yeah.
Water test.
And the trust, well, that's not 100%, but
Yeah, see, blue black.
Yep, there we go.
but it's the same way with an employee.
Right.
Like I'll have the feeling, and then we're good.
So you got the touch.
Hooked on a feeling.
Got the power.
Sleeveless in Seattle.
You asked everybody what their items are. What is your Grail item?
So I collect Turtles and Batman. Batman's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but Turtles, vintage and modern. And I've gotten to a point where I'm good with the vintage, but my Grail item for Turtles isn't actually something I have to go back and get. One of the very few toys, because my parents didn't save anything. We moved a lot, and I have the very first Raphael that my grandfather bought me at a Kmart down in Central Florida. And beat up, disgusting, tore up. But I've got a couple graded pieces. I don't have everything displayed right now, but I've got a couple graded pieces that are out. But right in the center, I've got a little acrylic case in that first Raphael I can remember getting. And soft
cool.
head. And the cool thing about it, I don't know if people know this, the very, very first run, and I'm sure Matt can correct me, was in Macau. And people are searching after those turtles because if they're stamped Macau on the bottom, those are like the first of the first runs.
Yeah, I think that's maybe correct. I just think they had 3 different places doing it at once.
But that Raphael, I mean, it's a Macau, and that's what started my, I wanted all 4 brothers Macau. And then
So
Ryan, 2 years ago, helped me complete Michelangelo with the beaded nunchucks. That
Oh, that's right.
people don't believe they exist. They
Yeah.
100% exist.
Yeah.
And I've got 2. One's broke, but I've got them on a.
Yeah, no, it came in here, and I think I had it in my office or
Yeah,
something.
and they're now sitting in a little case next to that Raphael of my grandfather.
But it's not common.
No,
No.
that's the only time I ever seen it was when it came into your store. And I think that was during COVID.
It's not common because they're broken. That's why they changed. It's the first run is beaded, and then they changed it because they broke so quickly.
But I mean, you never
You never
see
see
them.
beaded.
I mean, even
No.
broken in the bottom of boxes, you never see beaded.
Yeah, no, I had, I guess, that one that I was aware of, and then you got it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my grill.
You also have a Hungry Hungry Turtles game.
Yeah, so interesting. We have these Christmas parties. They're great, and Travis always goes out and does like these weird custom figures. I don't know if you guys have shown any or done anything. He makes them for the guys, but Andy this year stepped it up for me and Matt and got this tchotchke bootleg Hungry Hungry Hippos game, but made it Ninja Turtles somehow. The most ugly board game you've ever seen, but one of the coolest things I think in my collection, because not only did my friend make it, but it's so ugly you have to love it.
It was the coolest thing in my collection, but I'm finding out in real time that it's one of 2 and not one of 1.
You knew it was one of 2.
You've got look, yours was Leonardo themed, mine was Raphael.
Right?
So it's one of 1.
At least you got one.
Yeah.
You don't like turtles.
I know. I'm just saying.
Should have made him a Star
He
Wars.
got a custom
No, mine-
Boss Cog.
Yeah. So we had this idea, or did you make the name up? Or
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
we were just thinking of names, and it was funny, back and forth, and then it's Bosk.
Bosk Hog.
Bosk
Like Bosk
Hog.
the
Like
bounty
Boss
hunter
Hog,
from Star Wars.
but Bosk.
Okay.
So it was Bosk Hog, and we're like, we got to make a shirt, and then we go in like T Public or somewhere, and it already existed.
And I also said, what, Willy Wampa?
Yeah, and then he had Willy Wampa,
That's so good.
and they were already all there. Everybody else had a little bit too much fun and started making up names, and so there's already a shirt for
Or
it.
did Andy write a letter about it some time ago, and then they stole your idea?
He did write a letter to the T-shirt
probably-
guy.
You never know.
Mr. Public.
Well, a lot of hating over there.
No hate. No hate.
Yeah, whatever.
I like my hungry.
I'll say this for Andy's ideas.
But I have his Boss Hog. It's hanging in the office. It's hanging in
I
office
don't remember
too.
seeing this at the Christmas party.
Really?
Is it a Bosk head on like?
It's
It's a Boss head with the hands on a Boss Hog figure.
it's like the
Why don't I
375
remember this?
Migo, right?
Yeah.
With a custom card back.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Got a bubble. It has a file card on the back.
The ideas for this year's Christmas party. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't
We'll
wait.
see. What were you gonna say? You were saying something.
Well, you were talking about, your idea getting stolen, Ryan, and going and talking about companies. And I remember right before we stopped where I moved, really, and we lost our custom shed,
Right.
we had messed around with some zombie figures.
Yep.
And we were taking apart figures and this and that. And we made a very close, it looked almost exactly like Zombie Merle from The Walking Dead. The way we had the guts out, everything.
Yeah.
And we were taking pictures and sharing. It was cool.
Is that before they did a zombie?
And 6 months
Yep.
later, man, I'm telling you, if I'm lying, I'm dying. That same figure, Andy's sitting there tooling like these guts. It was almost a 1-for-1.
So that was when so Walking Dead
Yeah.
was like
I mean, it
on
was hot.
fire.
Right.
I mean, now you can't get away, I don't think.
Everything zombies. So that was like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I bought a nice Walking Dead collection.
Really?
But the funny thing is, it never sold. It just became dead. Or I'm selling them for $10, which is
dead
below
became
cost.
Right.
But all of a sudden, they started selling, and I was like, I'm dwindling down through all the back stock, and I was like, people are, but they're also selling for $10, $15,
Yeah.
which,
Well,
I wonder
but they're selling.
what brought them back in popularity. I mean, the new shows, I guess?
I don't even
I don't
know,
know.
but so somebody brought them in, and they were $20. They weren't, but I needed new ones.
It's like when the first Daryl figure
Yeah,
came out. It was like
Daryl, and what was it, Black and White or Bloody Rick or something was the money
something.
figure?
so the first release had that wider card,
Right.
and then there was a black and white Daryl or Rick.
Rick.
Yeah.
And
And then
that
a
was
bloody
like $200,
Daryl.
$300.
Yeah. It
So
was
I remember at your
nuts.
old store, you had a Daryl behind the counter. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like $200-300.
Yeah.
Well, see, Daryl was high, and then they reran him, but I don't think he got like the squirrel
Or the ear necklace or
or
something.
the ear. Yeah, or didn't he have like a satchel of squirrels or
Yeah.
some squirrel?
Yeah, because I think he shot him in the show and ate him or something.
I still have
don't
that 10-inch Daryl that you touched up the wings on his vest for me.
I think Dolph Lundgren in Universal Soldier had an ear necklace.
He did.
know. Yeah.
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 NECA, one of their loot boxes or something, you got the soap on the rope necklace.
Oh, I have that over there.
You still have one?
It's in it's on the
You
ground.
should take that to retro.
Was that a loot crate?
I don't remember if it was a loot crate. It came in something, but I've always wanted it. Like, is it vanilla scented? Is it good soap?
All I know-
is
well-
it terrible?
You could take it. It's been there long enough.
It's vintage now.
Well, in the old store, I don't know what it was when Loot Crate was on fire and everybody was buying
You
them.
had bins of it.
Then
The spirit of Splinter.
people just kept bringing it all in, and I was getting all. And it was like, and in the beginning, I was eager to get product, and then some lady brings me like 50 of this Tetris thing, and
I remember those.
I was like 50, and then I was like, "What did?" She's like, "Oh, I bought like hundreds of Loot Crates, and then I just parted them all out." I was like, "I guess that was a thing."
And here's all the stuff.
And then
nobody
all I
wanted.
got was
Yeah, here's the leftovers.
right.
Yeah.
So they're still somewhere in C.
Some of the loot crates that are coming out still are pretty cool, though.
Oh, I think NECA bought Loot Crate.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of them are great. Now, it takes a year or two to actually start getting them once you pay for them. But, once they come, they're
When's
pretty
the
good.
next Turtle thing?
Have not heard. I don't know.
Are they doing another one?
I don't know. Have you heard
I
anything?
mean, San Diego's coming up, right?
Well,
No,
San
no,
Diego-
but that
or-
crate
No,
where
the
you
Loot
got
Crate.
the bunny suits
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
got
yeah.
the different.
The
No,
spirit
I
of
think
Splinter,
those are the ones
the-
that you and I had done. Those are already done. I haven't heard them announce any new series of loot crates for them.
I will tell you, everything NECA Turtles is way down.
Really?
Way down.
Yeah.
Like even the exclusive stuff?
I don't know about all the box sets, all the movie Turtles, the Turtles in Time. Forget it.
So now would be the time to army build foot soldiers.
I just think it was so rare and so limited, and then there was, I think, such an uproar because nobody could get it, and then it was also the demand and COVID and everything was,
And they start mass
and then they
producing.
just ran it
They
again,
ran it.
and so that, satisfy demand, but then the secondary market, but economy and just the amount of sets and things coming in.
Look
and
how
then
many
you're-
lines and how many companies do turtle stuff, though.
What do you got? NECA, Super 7, Playmates is really making a comeback.
I mean,
Um,
the best action.
yeah.
You
Yes,
get
so
what
that's
the,
Loyal Subjects is best.
Who did
action.
the transforming party wagon.
That's Hasbro.
Is that an actual Hasbro?
Yeah.
See,
So speaking of turtles, you know how they're redoing the Technodrome?
right, it's smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I saw that today.
Well, thank goodness that it's not
like
a one for one.
Like the eye is.
The eyeball is...
The whole thing is...
Yeah.
The whole thing is small.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they just repurpose the molds? They have access to it.
Unless they don't have... There was like talks of like a fire at their factory and they lost a bunch of molds. Because like when they redid the pizza shooting turtles...
It's not the same?
You got Leo, Michelangelo,
Right.
and Raph.
No
They didn't
Donnie.
have Don because they didn't have his mold
Really?
still.
Yeah. So, have no fear. The vintage price of the Technodrome will still be.
But talking to people, like, I don't know how they make a mold of... I mean, that's a big mold.
That's
Right?
huge.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to invest in redoing that mold again. Because, like, for the National Joe show,
Right.
the official one that doesn't exist anymore, there was one year, it was 2007. It was the year that Roddy Piper became a Joe.
Yep.
There was a tank set called Tanks for the Memories. And there was a Cobra Mauler
Yep.
and a Joe Mauler with a Cobra driver and a Joe driver. I don't know if it was heavy metal again or...
I can't remember. I just remember the whole
and it was in
situation.
Atlanta. I went to the show, and you waited in line to get your exclusives, and you paid, or I don't know if I pre-bought this. I think you pre-bought it, so then you were in line to pick it up. Either way, when you got there, they handed you the drivers, and they said the tanks were delayed, and they will... But they promised them by Thanksgiving of that year.
Right.
Nope.
And then later on, they sent us a letter apologizing, refunding our entire money. We didn't even pay for the drivers. That the molds had been damaged, and so
Yeah, they
we
broke.
never ever going to get a
Never
mauler
gonna get
ever
those,
again.
nope.
And those figures became
Yeah.
even
Like
back then
bonkers.
$150, $200
Yeah.
a piece.
Have they held strong even in today's...
I'd be. They're probably like if you look up Tanks for the Memories or that it was, and that was the same year they did the Prophet Director Destro,
Yeah.
which I won't refer to it to the other name
Right.
because
No,
Arthur
will not sign it.
Arthur
Does not
Burkhart,
like
who's
it.
the voice of Destro, just
Hates that figure.
and we love Arthur. So
Oh, Arthur's awesome.
Yeah, so
Good
I
dude.
won't. But anyway, that was San Diego Comic-Con put it out that year, as well as the JoeCon, and there was a silver and a gold version, and then as well as Piper, and that was the year they gave out an uncut, kind of
Yep.
like proof sheet
Proof sheet.
of the 25th card backs that had the Destro card in it.
That was such a good line.
I still have a bunch of those in my basement. They were free.
You have a bunch of shoe boxes full of figure stands too.
Do I?
25th line.
Oh yeah, because we never put
You don't
stands
put
with
stands
figures.
out.
Yeah.
I have so much paperwork. I am going to get it sorted out so I could sell it. I don't need like 5,000 file cards. I just need one of each with variants.
With variants.
And then I could just find a way to put them in a binder and have it on the counter.
Just sell out.
And people could go through and maybe they're $3 a card or $5 a card, whatever. Starduster, maybe it's not $5. Yeah.
Hmm.
But all right, so is that wraps it? We're winding it down.
It was fun hanging out with you guys tonight.
Appreciate you coming on.
Guest appearance.
Gonna go hide behind the computer screen again.
Well, thanks for listening or watching, and tell a friend.
Tell the mailman.
Tell
Later.